facilities using some well-known sports figures, namely Alex Ovechkin, who is a huge celebrity in Russia, known for playing here in Washington, D.C. So those are some things we're going to leverage in our branding strategy.
Okay, so as for pricing, the average business class housing is around $5,800 per square foot, and elite housing is from 10 to 14. So we're trying to stay somewhere in between there, with initial of 6,500 to 7,500, and eventually going up to 9,000, 10,000 per square foot. For the reason we're doing this is that we need to get kind of an anchorage base of individuals to come to kind of attract more people to our complex. We know that they like quality and they like paying for quality, so if we make it too low of a price, they're not going to think that our building is high quality. So we're trying to keep the price a little up, but we still, we're not quite extreme elite, so we're going to keep it a little below that. And we can offer the lower prices because it's going to be an advantage for other aspects of our project, like the sports complex or the shopping, because those customers that are going to be living there are going to be spending more money in the other complexes, in the other segments of our complex, which is going to bring us revenues to make up for whatever little costs that we're giving to them.
As for the advertising, we're going to, again, as we stressed before, the Russian, as a culture, they're more based on facts than emotional advertising, so that's another thing we need to focus on. And again, they're willing to pay a high price for good quality of goods. So if we look through our different distribution channels, we found that our best way is to go through reputable newspapers and magazines that these business of that age range will be reading. And as for TV and radio, we can definitely use those, but during like primetime TV hours and radio, we're thinking during rush hours in the morning and in the evening when people are maybe coming home from work. Another advertising thing that we had was the name of our complex. Solnechnaya means sun, so the fact that it's sun and the village placed after it gives it an idea of maybe everything revolves around this complex. It has everything you want, it offers. And for promotions, we're going to be using pull strategies as well as push strategies. For the pull strategies, we want to get consumers and the customers in with any kind of promotional things such as memberships and rates for the residents. And push strategies towards retail shops as well. We want to offer employees, maybe beneficial parking as well as a shuttle that may bring employees from one part of the complex to other parts of the complex. We want to make it really easy and again, focus that this is like a center that offers a lot of different things.
Okay, well, just in conclusion to wrap it up, we feel this project has a lot of room for success. There's extremely high demand for a project like this, encompassing office space, retail centers, residential centers, and a sports facility. It's really an unmatched project right now in Moscow. So there's high demand for it and extremely low supply. As I mentioned earlier in my intro, it's a premier location. It's in a central business location with, as Jeremy mentioned, the Humin Park Chinese International Business Center, 10,000 employees that all meet our potential target market. So there's a lot of potential consumers, and as a company that is originating from within Moscow, we have an immense knowledge of the market and the consumers we're going to be dealing with. So we're fully prepared to take on this project, and we think it's we'll have a lot of success. Thanks. Any questions, please?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Two parts, sorry. First part, I know since this is a real case, did the company you work with give you any information such as the vacancy rate, the absorption rates, cap rates for the project and things like that?
I'm sorry to cut you off. If I can answer just that part first, then I guess you'll ask the second part later.
Yeah.
We weren't able to work closely with the company, and as it so happens, a lot of details are confidential when it comes to developers. So we really weren't able to get any specific information from them as far as vacancy rates. But as Frank said earlier in the project, we're in a specifically strategic location. There's not as many type of projects like these, especially in the Northeast Administrative District of Moscow.
Okay, so going to my second question then, the WikiLeaks kind of the WikiLeaks release that came out showing all the U.S. State Department cables were showing that the U.S. State Department thinks that President Medvedev is just kind of a puppet, and that Prime Minister Putin's right behind everything. He's doing everything. And also the economy is extremely skittish. Foreign capital is really skittish for Russia. Defaulted on their debt in '98 and things like that. How do you expect to attract foreign capital such as Trump and things like that when you have investors that are skittish at best in a risky asset such as real estate?
Well, as part of that, we're not looking to attract Trump as an investor. We're looking to get license his name on our project. And then as far as the other stuff, attracting foreign capital, really haven't looked into that, and we'll probably look into the domestic markets as, language is not a barrier and culture is not a barrier.
Yeah, this is a project originally pretty much from within Moscow. So financing for the project is leveraging local financial assets from within Moscow. So while obviously it would be an avenue to pursue to foreign financing and capital for this project, it's not one of our main focuses.
Also, there's been data that shows that it's not only foreigners, but there's been increased locals that have been entering this luxury real estate market.
I was just wondering, in the retail mall space, what kind of store are you aiming to have set up shop there? When you're targeting more like elite business, will be more foreign stores or more domestic Russian stores?
Well, because Russian consumers, the fastest growing brands are brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton. Those foreign luxury brands strike a chord with the Russian consumer. So those would be kind of, obviously we would put the high quality Russian retail outlets in these facilities as well, but I believe it's mostly going to be focused on foreign brands that really attract a prestige that would match the overall project.
A couple more questions.
You talked about in your paper about the Megatino Island, the Techno Park, and the K2 Business Park as competitors, and they're located in the center of Moscow. You said that your residential area is 16 kilometers north, correct?
Northeast, yeah. Northeast.
Yeah, east, sorry. Do you think that technically that is, what is that, 10 miles or such? Do you think that distance is great enough to make it more convenient for individuals to live in yours rather than like in the center of Moscow where K2 is 100,000 square feet of office space, and I'm sure there's a lot of retail in the center of Moscow as well as the sports facilities that you guys are providing. They might not be like directly right next to it, but within a 5-minute commute. Do you think that having your village all in one area is that much more convenient for the consumers of Russia or Moscow?
Well, traffic is a major problem. It might take hours just to go a very small distance there. They're having a lot of problems with that. So for someone, 10 miles is a really long commitment to make. So it really is convenient for a lot of people.
Do they have public transportation?
They do, but it's still traffic. It's ridiculous. I know one of my close friends went to Moscow this summer. She has family there, and it took her forever. Took her something like 4 hours to go to an airport that mileage-wise is probably an hour away, not even. It's really bad.
And additionally, by the project being somewhat outside the direct city center, we could offer more competitive prices for the exact same quality. So as our pricing showed, on average, a unit is probably about $2,000 or $3,000 more per square foot with only a distance of 10 miles. So to save overall, when it's the exact same quality, the exact same amenities, probably actually more amenities, we feel that most people would prefer to live in a place that offers them all the amenities within walking distance, right in their own little complex, and they have the same quality at a much better price.
Hi. I was just wondering, I don't know if you know this though, but has this property already been purchased?
Yes.
Yeah. And they're starting
building now. Yeah.
So I don't remember the exact figure that you gave, but the funds that I know that you said that there's no public investors and that you or retained earnings. So how is the village funded?
Through the development company has had through their personal, assets, and they've financed this project.
We weren't really given much access to that kind of information.
Okay, yeah.
We were just kind of given general that it's going to cost, I think it's 158 million.
Okay.
And really not giving any sources to where that financing is coming from. But they don't have public investors. They're a private company.
Right. All right. That was probably because you didn't have the knowledge.
Any last question or? No? Okay. Thank you very much.